Hey everyone, welcome to the Midwest Hustle Podcast. This is episode number 2. Thank you so much for joining in. I'm your host, Jared Cunningham. Today we're going to talk about creating your idea and turning that into a business. You have to be careful with that, right? Because not every idea could be good for business. I've had a lot of ideas, and thank God I had people in my life to tell me, hey, Jared, this might not be what you are set out, what your goals might be. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about the creation of that idea, right? So first things first, you need to be passionate about what you want to do. I'm passionate about creating stories and creating professional media for the Cedar Valley. And I'm also passionate about creating businesses. So you have to be, this is very important. You have to be passionate because you're not going to be able to continue on that journey. So for instance, for example, I look at the numbers of starting a McDonald's franchise location, right? They're pretty high. You can make a lot of money doing that. I'm not going to do that, though, because I'm not passionate about McDonald's. Does that make sense? It's really important that you have a passion for what you want to do, because that will help you. That will give you fuel in the long run to keep going. So that's like the first thing that I would say is being passionate about the idea that you have and whatever that could be. I mean, you could want to help people in the community. You could want to create a restaurant and deliver food to the community. Those are endless possibilities, and that's completely up to you. That's something I can't tell you. That's something that you have to dive deep into yourself and identify. But generating those passions will turn into businesses if you do it correctly. So for this first episode, we've created our idea, right? The next step, I would say, is creating a business plan. And what that would look like is it's kind of like a 5-year plan of what you want your business to be in 5 years. It doesn't have to be completely accurate. In fact, it can change in literally 30 days after you create it. But it gives you a foundation for what you want to do. A business plan is very important because it'll keep you motivated during the process of building your company. And it gives you goals that you can set. And they don't have to be, realistic goals. I mean, one of mine for my business plan for Midwest Media Guy was to go full time. And I went full time within starting 2 years. I didn't think I was going to go full time like 3 years, 4 years. But God blessed me tremendously, and I was able to go full time doing this. And so things change. The economy changes. You gain more clients. You lose some clients. But it definitely is important to have a business plan because it's a clear roadmap to guide you into the next steps of what you want to do. So in a business plan, you can have multiple things, not just your goals in life, but also a business plan should include a market analysis of your area, business structure, products, your services, a marketing strategy, and financial projections of what you want to make. I know that's a lot, but it will help you to plan for your future growth. So I would dive deep into the market analysis. And what that means is researching in your area of what is out there. So, for instance, if I'm going to create a coffee shop, I'm going to research all the different coffee shops in my area. I'm going to look at their pricing. I'm going to look at what they're serving. I'm going to look at the environment, the location, how much foot traffic is there. And I'm going to write this all out. I'm going to identify, hey, location's super important. What I'm serving is super important, and the environment is super important. And what then I'll need to identify is how to make myself different than them, because it'll attract a different type of crowd. And then I would go into, your marketing strategy for that is super important, how you're going to market that, right? So creating ads for social media, creating different ads for TV, maybe radio, whatever. Those are just some small steps that you can do. You can go into Google Ads if you wanted to. Creating a website, super important. It gets you on the internet. And having a good website, a good running website, is very important, because you could have a website from Wix.com and it just will look horrible. No offense, Wix, if you're listening, but I don't use Wix. I use professional grade website development. We use WordPress, but you need to have those things in your business plan of what type of website you're going to have, how you're going to a strategy on how you're going to get yourself out there. And then you go into your financial projections. This one can be a little pretty much what you want to say. It's a great goal for you to have. It could be straight up, I want to make, by 5 years, I want to make $1 million. You can put that if you want. I like to be realistic. If our economy is not in that growth area in the market, I'm not going to put that. But that's why you do research analysis. You look and see what people are making, how much foot traffic it is. Okay, so if I take that, then I can identify how much I would make in 5 years, right? And these are rough projections, but creating a business plan is super important, because it will give you an idea of where you want to be in the next couple of years. So then you go into like funding your business, right? And it's so hard getting money for your company, because there's multiple ways you could do it. You could save like crazy and work really hard and work multiple jobs, and that's the route I did. I worked multiple jobs. I saved like crazy. I didn't pay myself for over 2 years almost. Once I went full time is when I started paying myself. I dived every cent back into the company, every single penny, to help me grow in the company. And so that's the way I went about it, because I don't like to owe anybody anything. That's a huge thing for me. And so getting funding, there's different ways you can do it. You can get loans, you can have investors, crowdfunding, and grants. Now, I want to dive into this because it's really important about loans. It depends on what type of business you're going into. So, for instance, a cleaning company, me. I did not take a loan out for anything. And you can easily cash flow a cleaning company. I just saved my money. Now, let's talk about maybe a landscaping business, lawn care, whatever. That would probably be something that I would look into on getting a loan for, because those machines are very expensive. you have to be careful on what you do for your loan. So it's kind of just like college. I wouldn't go to college for theater. And not to diss any people out there that did do that. That's your choice. That's okay. But I would never do that because that's a waste of money. I would go to college for becoming a doctor, becoming a lawyer, and I wouldn't spend all that money. I wouldn't take out loans. Now, I also went to college for digital media. Yes, I probably could have been fine without going to college and spending all that money. But I also connected myself with professionals out in the industry that still to this day, we work together on projects. So I'm thankful for my college experience, but also at the same time, you can learn everything on YouTube. So, yeah, going back into loans, I like to stick away from those. I steer away from them because I just, loans in general have a bad taste in my mouth unless it comes to real estate, because real estate, it's kind of impossible for you to be able to, unless you're a millionaire, grew up in a rich family, but it's impossible for you to, buy real estate. But you could also look into investors in your area that people that are business entrepreneurs like me, to talk to them about your idea. And if you're going to do that, I would be very careful as well. I wouldn't just go in and be like, "Hey man, can we do something together? I have this idea." No. I would prepare. I would show them your business plan. They're going to want to see your business plan. They're going to want to see, okay, so give me some numbers. I want to see when I'm going to get my money back, right? They're going to want to see all the information. They're not going to take you seriously if you just say, "Hey, I have this idea." No, they want to see a business plan all laid out on paper. And then you can go into, so that is one way to get funding. Another way is crowdfunding, which is the public. You can, there's many websites out there. I don't know much about that. Not going to. And then there's grants you can get. There's so many grants out there for business people, especially if you're in college and you are studying business or whatever. You can definitely look into your college grants and what they have to offer. I know that I did a video for the University of Iowa for their business department. They had a grant contest, basically. And I did a video commercial for someone that was entering the contest. And she didn't win, unfortunately. But guess what? She literally opened up a coffee shop, literally, I think 2 years later. And it's called the Savvy Bean, downtown Waterloo. Super happy for her. But, there's different stuff out there for people that are in college. You just got to look for it and research it and talk to your teachers, whatever, your professors, to see what the school has to offer. So we've talked about funding. We've talked about creating an idea, creating that business plan, and then we've talked about funding that. Again, personal savings, that's me. That's how I go. That's how I do everything pretty much. So far, I've never done anything else besides that. I may look into investors in the future, depending on what that is. Most likely real estate is what it will be, not business. All my businesses have been completely cash flowed, no loans, nothing. And that's the way I like it. And it's a safe route too. I mean, it just takes time. That's the thing. A lot of people, they jump the gun on it, and I'll just go on a little rant here, but they jump the gun on everything. And I'm like this too. It's not just I'm perfect. I've learned, because you need to take time when it comes to financials, because it's super important, because it's going to backstab you in the long run. It's going to be bad. in the future. So you need to make sure you be careful with finances because you don't want that to happen to you. And that's why I'm doing everything cash flowing, because it's the safe route and it just takes time. That's the biggest loss on everything. Like, I do have dreams. It's going to take time to get them. I'm only 26. It's going to take time. I might hit those dreams when I'm 40 or 50, but that's okay. I'm fine with that. Other people, they're not fine with that, but that's just them. But so then we're going to go into navigating those challenges that you may, possess. And that's a huge topic. I'm just going to do an overview on that because we can dive deeper into later episodes on that. There are so many challenges that entrepreneurs encounter, especially with financial struggles, competition, market fluctuations, self-doubt, and burnouts. But, you guys have to be resilient to all of that because you are entrepreneurs and you have to just take it, go at it. And I'm going to dive into a little bit of those, competition and financial struggles. Like I said a little bit earlier, financial struggles is always something that's always on my mind. That's why I don't owe anybody anything and I cash flow everything that I can. That's the best route to stay away from that challenge, because, it can hurt you in the long run. Competition, we'll dive into that. There's always going to be competition out there, and I've learned over my several years doing this that there's always going to be competition, and you need to root for them too. They're your competition. You don't ever talk bad about anybody. And you just leave it at that. You just do a good job for your customers. So how do we stay motivated when we're stressed about that stuff, right? Well, you could listen to this podcast. Or, you could, what I like to do is sometimes I'll listen to, Tony Robbins or, whoever to help get me through a challenge. But what I do, a lot of the things that I do personally is I seek God for any issue that I'm having. And usually he always responds. Not in the way that I want, but he will respond to me. And I just wait on him because I know that I wouldn't be here without him and this business wouldn't be here without him. So he's kind of like my business partner in some ways. But if you're not a Christian, which is okay, how do you stay motivated, right? You have to believe in yourself. You have to know that you're going to make mistakes. And while you go through those mistakes, you have to believe in yourself. Surrounding yourself with a supportive network is huge. With people will sow into you so much with words, with whatever, and it's super important to stay with them. I have an amazing network of people that I look up to, and that has helped me tremendously, and I would definitely recommend that to anybody out there that is struggling right now. You need to surround yourself with people in your industry or friends, family. And it's going to be tough. You're going to have to go through those challenges, and we can dive deeper into that on future episodes. But you just have to keep pushing through, and, it never stops. So lastly, I want to talk about scaling and growth. In closing here, I want to talk about scaling and growth. You have to be patient about scaling and growth, right? You really do. You can't want to just grow immediately. And I had that mindset in the beginning, of just, oh, I want to be this, I want to be that. Oh, look at me, right? And I learned that it takes time to be that. And I had someone very close to me tell me, Jared, this stuff takes time. You're gonna have to just wait. Scaling your business will take several years, and it can be challenging. It's crucial to have a solid infrastructure and a great team behind you. And if it's just a one-man show, like it was for me, it's crucial to have a network of people behind you, partnerships, and even customers can be your partners. I mean, I have a couple of customers of mine that I'm very close to, and they're really good friends, and they've helped me go through challenges when I was just starting out, right? About my business and how to scale it better. Don't rush the process. I've said that already. It takes time. There's a process for everything. Don't rush it. Slow and steady wins the race. That's always been right, and it will continue to be right. It is more sustainable in the long run. And I would always just make sure to keep an eye on your customers' needs and maintain a strong company culture. That right there, keep an eye on your customer needs, is huge, because that will make you so different than the competition. Real quick, I just want to add that note there. That will make you win. Taking care of your customer. And it just made me win because I've taken care of my customers. So thank you guys for tuning in today for episode 2 on the Midwest Hustle podcast. Again, remember, don't rush the process. Slow and steady wins the race. And remember always, the hustle never stops. Thank you.